Hi, Matt, Noyes pattern predictions. This is where we give you kind of our thoughts on the next 2 weeks because we've got the 14-day in our Noyes 1 degree outside weather app. But why does it look the way it does? And even more so, what can you expect to change and what should you be watching here on the 14-day if you have plans, right? Well, first of all, let's start out with the jet stream. Oftentimes we start with the jet stream because it really does define the pattern very well. And right now you can see there finally is a phasing going on. We've been telling you week after week, there's just been no phase between subtropical moisture in the southern branch of the jet stream and the westerlies that bring in the energy. Now you've got that phasing. It's been going on in the nation's midsection. That's been resulting in bouts of heavy rain. This will continue to be the spot. And we mentioned this in the monthly forecast at the start of November. This will be the spot where you're going to find phasing happening multiple times over the course of the next month. Now, in terms of the rest of the pattern, look, you can see that it's not even like it's a total lock that it keeps happening every day, right? I mean, as we get into the weekend, you got a little bit of a split that goes on here, but there's something important going on that we talked about in the Insights video earlier, which is Rafael is the next tropical system that'll be developing, heading in across the Gulf of Mexico. That represents a multitude of tropical moisture that'll be available. So when you start to get these phasings now, and there's another phasing that happens we get into next week, where right in that same spot, nation's midsection. This is good for their drought. But what it does is you've got Pacific moisture and Gulf of Mexico moisture that's available here. Look, by phasing enough times across the central United States, you can't help but bring at least a plume of some of that moisture up into the northeastern United States. Look at where the jet stream is pointed. So while we may not get into any real heavy rainmakers or anything like that, the reason you see a chance of showers going up toward the end of the 14-day is because finally you're starting to open the door at least to getting some of that moisture, even if in a kind of deflected, because you can see the jet stream turning around over the northeast, deflected form, you're still getting something in here, which may be enough to at least cause some scattered showers, better than we've seen lately, and would be enough to help at least the brush fire danger, not this week, but at the end of next week. Now, next 14 days of rain, you can see it's over 8-10 inches of rain in the nation's midsection where they get storm after storm along with some severe weather. But here at home, we don't even get an inch of rain. It's nothing like that. That's why we still feel like the monthly forecast we had for below normal precipitation for November certainly is still on track. But even if you get something toward the end of the period, you're going in the right direction. You can see that here too. On Monday, you've got a spike in a chance of showers here. I would watch the timing on that just to make sure it doesn't try to bleed into Tuesday. And then at the end of next week and next weekend, that increased chance of showers you have, we don't think it's going to rain every one of those days. What this is representative of is there's finally enough moisture that depending on the timing of each jet stream disturbance, you may be able to get some showers to crop up. And that's why you're seeing that increased chance there anyway. So watch as we get closer to that, see the days that we kind of consolidate the precipitation chance on if you've got plans in that window. The other thing is, if you're both bringing a tropical system in from the Gulf of Mexico and making storms in the nation's midsection, those are two contributors to warmth in the eastern United States. So when you look at the temperature pattern, we really don't see a lot of cold coming into play at all over the next 2 weeks. Even after the cold front that stops the record warmth at midweek this week, you're still warmer than normal behind it. And then maybe by the time we get like toward the end of the 14-day, you get a little bit better shot of cool that comes in if a storm can develop out over the ocean to our east. But notice the sub-zero chill from northwest Canada into Alaska. Some of that gets squashed in northern Canada because of storms coming out of the U.S. going over Hudson Bay with warmth. But there'll still be a lot of cold bottled up in Alaska. We need to watch that, and Danielle and I will watch that. And if we see any signs it may dislodge, we certainly would let you know in our pattern predictions videos. Again, you see what I mean about, okay, record warmth midweek this week, cold front comes through, but it really isn't exceptional at all for this time of the year. In fact, if anything, I would argue that the exceptional part about it is the fact that it's warmer than normal still, right? We get into the overnight lows and you don't even see a lot as New England average. It drops below freezing except for one night when we get into, let's say, Saturday night and Sunday morning, and that's about it. Meanwhile, down in the tropics, just so you know, we are watching Rafael, of course. We talked about that in Insights. But I think as we get to the upcoming weekend, we'll also be watching the southern Bahamas down across Puerto Rico in this vicinity. There may just be enough relaxing of the wind aloft that you may be able to get something to try and develop. So we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, of course, if you want to get the latest forecast for where you're at, easy to do, grab our app, Noyes 1 degree outside weather. These videos post to the top of the app home screen when they come out. And, of course, you can find everything all the time at onedegreeoutside.com. Have a great rest of your day. See you again later on for Evening Essentials.